Hey, it's Zoe with Health Talk. Are you finding out that the Affordable Care Act isn't so affordable? Or maybe you're just now realizing that preventative care really means take this pill for the rest of your life. Is this you? Your energy is low, you eat a poor diet, you spend most of your days sitting, and you suffer from other health problems too? Well, it's time to do something about it. Learn from experts in health and wellness and finally take control of your health. Join Ageless Health author Dr. Tom Roselle, DC, and guest speakers at the Angelica Film Center Mosaic for Ageless Health 2016, maximizing the fountain of your youth. Thursday, October 13th from 5 to 9 p.m. Listen up. This event will change your life. Registration is just $59 and you'll learn to apply key concepts right away to begin living your life without pain, drugs, or surgery. Register now. Call 703-698-7117. That's 703-698-7117. Or visit agelesshealth2016.com. That's agelesshealth2016.com.
The information provided on Dr. Tom Roselle Live by Dr. Tom Roselle, DC, interview guests, show co-hosts, or substitute hosts is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. It is for general information purposes only. Information from this broadcast should not replace the appropriate consultation and examination process by a licensed physician. Always consult your own physician prior to changing any current medical directive or prescription.
Dr. Tom Roselle Live, right now, on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Welcome to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. This is Dr. Tom Roselle, live in studio, waiting to take your phone calls on anything you'd like to know about your health, things that are still bugging you. You've tried, you've applied, all those things that you've been running around trying to do for yourself, and guess what? Doesn't work, right? Well, here's an opportunity. Call me. 888-630-9625. That's 888-630-9625. Love to talk to you. I've got several things I want to go over with you today because there's so much out there. And this is the place that we kind of use the divining rod. We kind of weed through the jungle, so to speak, and find out what's really true, what isn't true, what you can do about things, and really make a huge difference in the capacity for you to extend, excel, and live far beyond anything that you thought might be possible. I want to talk to you about some things because I've been thinking, and I've been getting into that, that mood. What's triggered the thought process, kind of more so than not? Well, in the last, 40 years of practice, I've had the opportunity to touch and help and, open the door for a lot of people to reclaim their life. And in my business, we probably have about an 80% success rate. What that means is that 80% of the people that we see, we're really able to get them going and they achieve what they want to, and they keep going. And the only reason that they don't continue the process is because of something, a desertion, is something that they decide that is different in their life and it makes them fall off track or whatever. And there's about 10% of the people that, that we see over a period of many years that just, they get better, but they never quite take it up to the next level. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Some of it is just they don't want to give things up. They don't want to break relationships. They've gone way too far down the totem pole. And then there's another 10% of the people that we see that just never get beyond start. And some of them is because it's way too late and they're not willing to do whatever. And even, I've had patients tell me when I've asked them to change dietary patterns or I do lifestyle modifications, and they've told me I would rather die than give that up. It's kind of interesting. We're so stuck in our habits, and subsequently we look at lifestyle as it relates to what we show and manifest. Well, there's been more than that that's got me thinking. And what really triggered is over the last several months, we've lost 3 patients that had been with us for many, many years. And they became friends, and, we know their families. I've gone to weddings. We've celebrated everything in their lives. And we're talking people that have been around for 25, 30 years. And I look at these people who have, in these particular cases, have tried to step up. And 100% across the board, not really. But have they made an effort? Yes. So what's the difference? And we're talking about people recently that left us, 2 of them in their 60s, 1 a little bit older than that, and very difficult transitions, very tough transitions. And I've had to look back and say, what are they doing, or what did they do? What happened that caused them to trigger these manifestations, trigger these problems that took them out, when in fact that they tried, they made efforts, and they kept searching, and they kept looking for things that they could do, and so forth. And, those of you who know me know that I look at everything from a triad of health: structural, chemical, emotional. There's nothing that happens in your life, health-wise, that doesn't start from a stress pattern. It means a breakdown or not attention to the structural components of your body, the biochemical system, and your emotional platform. They all work together. They're all interrelated. They're all in tandem, one to the other. So I looked at these people. I looked at myself. I'm sitting there. I'm 40 years in practice, and I walk my talk, at least about 90% of the time. And that other 10% is, it's not huge, but I'm saying, okay, am I going to be exposed to the same type of thing? Well, I'm already at that place in time but nothing's happening. So what happens? What's the differential? What causes somebody who generally has tried? Is it the emotional piece? It is the biochemical piece that maybe was very different, I didn't know about, exposures, some other things of that nature. Was it a structural piece? Was it an organic situation, a weakness in the system? Was it the stimulation of those genetic maps through epigenetic irritation that allowed these people to trigger these processes that broke them down? And in all three of these cases, and again, these are friends, and I think that's what's bugging me, probably more than anything else, is that they did things that were right, but there's a piece that was missing. And what was missing? What was that piece? And I look through, because I'm lecturing all over the world. I'm lecturing all over this country, and I touch people, and I talk to them, and I get intimate in their lives and try to find out what's going on. I'm saying to myself, what happened here? What was the missing linchpin? What was the thing that we didn't see, or I wasn't able to guide them? This is the self-filtering piece that I have in my brain when it comes to all these people that I touch. So subsequently, I looked through and I said, you know what? You can open the door, because I know at the bottom of everything that if you take care of really looking at the structural, chemical, emotional, you're in a great place. You have all kinds of things going for you, regardless of what your financial or social situation is. You can soar above and beyond things that you might not ever thought about before that. I have to give a talk today. When I leave here after the radio program, I'm going to the Fairview Park Marriott Hotel in Falls Church, Virginia. It's right off the National Capital Beltway. Many of you have been to our Ageless Health seminars there over the years. And it's pathway presentations, all kinds of stuff that's happening there. But I'm going to give a lecture at 2 o'clock. So, by the way, you're invited to join me. Please come. I'm going to talk about the 10 steps of healthy living. And I was going to talk about something else, but on the way back home this morning, I was at a seminar all weekend. I was taking notes and writing, doing some mental things and dictating and so forth. And I decided I was going to do this because this has been on my mind. What is it? We're all looking for that magic pill to fix everything. We're all looking for, something to be done to us to make it happen. We're all looking for, absolution in our indiscretions. And so these things last night, the night before, day before that, has been primarily on my mind. And I'm saying, what can I do to enhance the communication piece, the education piece to my listeners, to my patients, to the people that I touch? And I came up with these 10 steps. So we're going to talk about 10 steps to healthy living this afternoon at 2 o'clock at the Fairview Park Marriott Hotel, the Pathways presentation. So they'll tell you where I'm hanging out, but I'll be there. It starts on time. I'm going to lecture for basically an hour. It depends if, they throw me out early. It might be a few minutes less than that, but come join me and let's talk about some things. I want you to take inventory on what's going on in your life and decide, are the changes that might need to be made on your part something that in fact that you are willing to do? And, you know, I took a longevity test. It was kind of interesting. I did it this weekend because of all this nonsense. You know, doctors get crazy too, right? So I sat there and I plugged the data in from my age and my height and, you know, my lifestyle habits and so forth and so on. And you know, pushed the button and went into an insurance actuarial chart. And there it goes, you know, and it comes up that I should live somewhere between 88 to 105 years of age. Well, that's great, you know. And then I went back and I had to look at it and say, did I lie any place? You know, did I kind of fib around a little bit? And the chances are no, because, you know, at my age I don't take any medications and I exercise, you know, on a fairly irregular basis. Even when I'm gone, I'm getting on the floor and doing some stretching. You know, I live with my nutritionist, so my food's really good. And the bottom line is I do certain, and the body, you know, you go back and you look at longevity studies, and the body was meant to last in about 1950s, only to about 62 years of age. And now the actuarial charts are showing it up to about 80 years of age. And that's across the board. That's on average in this country. That's a huge jump. And that's average. How about those of you that really, you know, do a decent job of taking care of yourself? So here comes the deciphering situation. If I'm going to live that long, am I going to live well? Or am I going to, you know, stutter and spark and spurt and break down and find myself in, you know, some kind of nursing facility, somebody taking care of me? Or am I going to live abundantly well until I'm well into my 90s and maybe beyond in a way that I can contribute and make a contribution? Well, we're going to talk about this afternoon, and we're going to talk about a lot of things here today. 888-630-9625, 888-630-9625. Give me a call. You know, have you ever thought about, you know, the foods that you go into your body and, you know, why they're good, why they're not? And, you know, those of you my patients, you'll hear me say, don't eat white potatoes, don't eat anything that's white, that converts into blood, you know, into sugars quickly because it's going to break down your blood sugars and so forth. And, you know, people say, well, I got to have starch. I got to eat. Well, have you ever considered vegetable starches? I mean, things like, how about sweet potato? You know, sweet potatoes are really amazing foods, right? And they taste good. You bake them. You don't even have to put anything on. They're decent. You know, yams, sweet potatoes, you know, same old type of thing, right? Well, sweet potatoes taste great when they're steamed, or they're even, you know, you can oven fry them, which means that you can just put oil on them and pop in the oven and so forth. And you can do it with coconut oil or regular oil. And, you know, even though that there's a difference, you know, in the potato world, you know, the sweet potato has tremendous application, and we've known this for like ever. It goes back to about 750 BC. You know, it's one of the oldest medical records known to mankind, and they've been cultivating sweet potatoes, and it actually was brought to this country by the Spanish and the Portuguese. And, you know, then the Asians and the Africans, and by the 16th century, it was a food staple. And, you know, we're not talking about white potatoes here. We're talking about sweet potatoes, right? And there's so many things that are great about them and what they can do for you. What can they do for you? Well, you know this thing that we call antioxidants that we've kind of been beating the drum on forever? Well, it's like overloaded with antioxidants. It's colorful. It's, you know, it's orange, so we know that it's got some good stuff in it. You know, there's something called carotenoids in it that have the ability to break down free radical damage and repair things in your body. They help slow down the aging process in your body. They help your heart recover, and they also act as a blunter, a barrier against things that, you know, you don't want to have happen, cancer for one. So when you have all of this great stuff, these antioxidants, these polyphenols, you know, the vitamin A that's in it, it's worth taking a look at. And why, right? So in addition, sweet potatoes are a huge source of natural vitamin C and B5 and dietary fibers and copper and iron and potassium and niacin, and actually the list goes on. But you got to get them into your body, and you got to mix that with a general diet of all kinds of other things that are good for you. We're going to talk a little bit about this crazy sweet potato because it has a very low glycemic index, and I want to show you how to use it. See, all of you are thinking, I'm going to tell you about pills. Well, this is not the place that we're going to talk about pills. We're going to talk about how you can shift things, right? This afternoon, I'm going to be at the Pathways Seminar in Falls Church at the Marriott Hotel, Fairview Park Marriott Hotel. Don't go away. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Tom Roselle here. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live. I am in studio. Love to take your phone calls. 888-630-9625. That's 888-630-9625. By the way, those of you who attended our in-house presentation last week on blood pressure problems, obviously we had a full house, and Dr. Bryce Miller did a phenomenal presentation, and all of you went away with a little different look at the subject. And, you know, when you come to these programs, take the information and apply it. Don't just come just because it's a night out. You know, find out what you can do and adapt it. Get yourself on a program. Move it forward. Get it done. You have to make sure that you take action. This afternoon, please join me. I'm going to be at the Fairview Park Marriott Hotel at 2 o'clock. As soon as I leave here, I'm going over there, and actually I will start the presentation at 2 o'clock, and I'm going to be talking about healthy habits that can allow you to live longer, healthy living, taking stock, 10 things. I'm going to go over 10 different things with you very specifically, and we're going to say if you do this, you do this, and if you're looking for a pill, or if you're looking for this isn't the lecture for you. I'm going to guide you. I'm going to tell you what you need to get done. I'm going to show you what I do on a regular basis. So be there, show up, okay? I'll see you this afternoon, and, you know, it'll be fun. And I'll hang around for a while, and our office will be there as we are anytime Pathways does a presentation to answer questions and to help out and so forth. Want to also remind you that coming up October 13th, it's coming very, very quickly. We're doing our Ageless Health presentation. Roselle Center for Healing, in conjunction with Caring for Others, 501c3 Virginia-based foundation, is going to be doing Ageless Health 2016, and it's maximizing the fountain of your youth. Live without pain and restore your physical capacity. That's what this one's all about, and we're going to talk about how you can be proactive. So are you ready to really take control of your health? Are you ready to create a greater wellness, you know, in your life? You know, I'm going to talk a little bit about that this afternoon, but that's just kind of a tease to what this presentation is going to be on the 13th. You know, can you emotionally commit yourself to doing the things? Well, this program, Ageless Health, is the most effective way of learning how to change that. We're doing a little different presentation. Those of you who have been over the years know that we usually do a whole day deal. And we start early in the morning. Registration starts at about 7:15, and we go to 5 o'clock. Well, this year we were going to put it off to the spring, and I said, you know, we can't put it off, so we're doing a condensed program. This is only going to be 4 hours. It's going to start at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's going to end about 9:30 or 9:20. I think we're going to have a break in between, so you can stretch, and you're going to get 6 really hard-hitting presentations, about 30 minutes apiece. And Dr. Stephanie Pina is going to be there, and she's going to talk about using energy to heal your body and, you know, strengthen yourself beyond your expectations. Sue's going to be there. She's going to talk about the power of food to help restore health and increase your vitality. Okay, getting back to basics, right? Food. And then Dr. Matt Adams, those of you, I love Matt. You know, he's just this good old boy that is so loaded with information. He's going to be talking about how to save your brain and your nervous system and, you know, the toxins that cause you to break down. He's going to show you how to dump those things and get it done and take it home. Bryce Miller is going to talk to you a little bit about exercise and never cheating on exercise, because if you use exercise as a daily ritual, it can save your life. It can change things dramatically. Dr. Scott Lamp. Scotty is an amazing guy, right? He's going to talk about your posture, and he's going to teach you why that sitting around doing nothing is worse than smoking. And you need to make that. And guess what? I'm going to be looking at your whole crystal ball. I'm going to talk about, you know, your epigenetic center. What's that? Your predispositions from your heritage, from your family, and that you don't have to have what your dad had and your grandfather had or your mom had and your great-grandmother had and so forth. That it's not necessary, because 80% of all genetic patterns are controllable, and they're alterable, and they're changeable, and they're suppressible. 80%. 80%. So guess what? It's going to be a blockbuster, very, very quick, very applicable. Things that you can do. We're going to make notes available to you. They're going to be online in the cloud. But also those of you who aren't computer savvy will have the information for you so you can get it done, right? So show up, but you need to register. You need to register now, because this is going to be limited. We're not going to have the numbers. We're actually going to limit to about half of what we usually do, because it's going to be at the Angelica Film Center in Merrifield. And it's going to be a little different pattern. We're going to try something different this year. And it's about, by the way, there's going to be gift bags and all kinds of things, and it's part of your registration fee. And then registration is like cheap. It's like $49. And if you go online and you register for 2 of you, I think it's $99. So do it today. Go to agelesshealth2016.com, agelesshealth2016.com. And register, because like I said, it's extremely limited, and we can't put any more people anyplace because we can't put chairs in there. There's fire codes, all kinds of things. So looking forward to see you there and this afternoon, but register today for Ageless Health. Talking about, the sweet potato, right? We said it's an antioxidant. We said, it's one of these things. Did you know that if you have any problems with the accumulation of metals and toxins, mercury, things like that it can get rid of it? Did you know that it's one of the best things that you can do, so you don't even have to peel it, to consume it, because of huge numbers of antioxidants in the skin. Amazing food to change all kinds of things. And most of you just eat white. You eat white potatoes, and, some of you eat, the instant white potatoes. Well, don't do it. The stuff is and it's a low glycemic index. Don't go away. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle.
Dr. Tom Roselle Live continues now on 105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Tom Roselle here. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle Live in studio. 888-630-9625. That's 888-630-9625. That's how you find me in studio right now. Call me. And how you find me when I'm not here is go to rosellecare.com. That's ROSELLECARE.com. And check it out. And, if you want one of my doctors at the Roselle Center for Healing to give you a jingle, you can call 703-698-7117, or just send a note through the website, and somebody will get back to you and talk to you about problems that you are having a hard time getting rid of. But the opportunity today is at 888-630-9625. Let's talk a little bit about that belly of yours, that belly fat. I'm kind of touching on things that you need to really know a lot about. A lot of you really take the time and do some exercise. Some of you don't. And, some of you are diabetic, and some of you have high blood pressure and all those things. And, you look at your life and say, oh, what happened? What do I expect from my age? But, some of you are in your 30s and, your 40s, and you got a belly on you. And it's like, what's that all about, right? And, after, you do certain things and you still got that belly fat, it's, you got to understand that there's a reason why that takes place. And sometimes you're eating way too much. We were talking a little bit at the break about a couple hormones. One's called ghrelin, the other one's called leptin. And ghrelin and leptin are the things that modulate and regulate your desire to eat anything, right? So ghrelin is the guy that says, I'm hungry. It's the hunger hormone, and it's something called a peptide hormone. It's produced, by the intestinal tract, by your gut. And when your gut is bad, by the way, you're going to produce more ghrelin, believe it or not. It's like one of those crazy things. And it plays a role in regulating, energy distribution in the body and so forth. But it's the guy that tells you, I need food. And if you're not getting good stuff, you're going to eat more of this junk, anything that you can get your hands on. So that's ghrelin. Leptin, on the other hand, is the one that tells you that, okay, I'm good. Everything's good. I don't have to eat anymore. And it's kind of a balancing act, right? So the hormone leptin is involved in the regulation of your appetite as well as your metabolism and calorie burn. And leptin is a chemical that tells your brain, I'm done, I'm full, I don't need any more, I can walk away, it's all good, right? But unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work. And leptin particularly is the hormone that has to be regulated and produced when you are sleeping. So those of you who don't sleep really well, yeah, you got a problem. It's as we said, it's the leptin is the guy that tells you that you're full. So if it's not working, if it doesn't trigger these messages, and by the way, it starts in a little place called the hypothalamus of your brain, and there's this whole mechanism that we've talked about. You heard me say HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal. and it regulates your thyroid, so then your thyroid doesn't work and you don't burn calories the way you're supposed to and so forth. It all starts with that hypothalamus. It all starts with the production of this leptin level. And if you sleep in rooms that are not completely black, if you don't sleep in a regular sleep cycle, if you're constantly being stimulated too much, you got a problem. But meanwhile, it's going to upregulate a lot of different things, so you want to eat more, and it's not okay. And we're going to talk about how that works with, diet sugars and so forth, the aspartamines and truvias and things of that nature. They all work differently, even though that you don't think, but you can't get the weight off. You look at that fat belly, and that fat belly is still there. So, what happened, right? What's going on that I still got this gut? Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. 888-630-9625. Call me. Sylvia, how can I help you?
Hi, good afternoon. Glad to have you back. I hope you can hear me because I can hardly hear you.
I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, wonderful. This is something I have never heard discussed anywhere. Of course, I'm not every place 365 days a year. But it's about cleaning your blood pressure, wrist, the arm band that you put on. I've never had a doctor clean it. I once asked for it to be cleaned, and so they cleaned it in front of me. Now, I know most of them, the armbands are made in cloth, so it's very difficult to clean. They now have the new armbands that have a shinier finish that you can use those wipes on. But if you have the cloth one, the cloth BP wrap around your arm, is it okay to, it has to be done over a piece of clothing, a T-shirt or something, so that all those bacteria and everything from all the other people that are on it are not, put onto your own skin.
Yeah. So here's the situation, and we take blood pressures all the time in our office, and if you're going to put anything on somebody's skin surface and then reuse it again, it needs to be cleaned. It needs to be disinfected. And if you're not doing that, and particularly if you're using it back to back to back, some things, certain bacteria and viruses and so forth have a very, very short we'll use the word shelf life, meaning that, once they're exposed to the air and so forth, they die, and that's it. And it also depends on the skin surface. If the skin is broken, if the immune system is down, then you obviously increase your risk of contact from one individual to the other. So in any practice, if they're putting it over clothing, and the clothing needs to be light and not putting pressure on the person itself, then it's not a big deal. You don't have to worry about it too much. But if you're going skin-to-skin contact, it has to be cleaned. And I would, whether you're in my practice or you're somebody else, and say, you're taking this over my skin, do you do it on other people's skin, and so forth. People ask us all kinds of questions, but maybe that's the nature of our practice because we open up that door to questioning. But yes, I totally understand your point on this, and I agree with you that if you're in a clinic or a doctor's office or ever, and they're taking your blood pressure, and it's from one patient's skin to another patient's skin, and you really need to make sure that they're wiping those things down. And so what if they're cloth? In most hospitals they're not, but you wipe them down, and some of them, even in emergency areas, now have disposables, and they use them once and they throw them away. But you're right on the mark with this, Sylvia, and it needs to be done. Appreciate your phone call. Thanks for calling in. You're exactly on point. 888-630-9625. 888-630-9625. Love to talk to you. We were talking a little bit about that belly fat, right? And, I kind of segued in, and we talked about the leptin ghrelin phenomena and what that's all about. And if you're not sleeping well, and there's foods that trigger these things as well, and there's stress levels that trigger these things. That HPA axis, we said, is produced by the hypothalamus, leptin is, and if you're stressed out all the time, guess what happens? You go to belly fat, and that's a whole thing with cortisol fat and so forth, but that's where it starts. That's the breakdown of that HPA axis. You have to sleep to be able to control fat as well as your diet and so forth and so on. But let's take it from another place. A lot of you are saying, well, my doc said I can have diet this and diet that, and it's not going to be a big deal, and pretty soon you're consuming a chemistry set. Well, the chemistry set that you put in your body has a lot of side effects, and not only deterioration of cells and tissue, but also it ain't going to get rid of that gut that you got. And, that unsightly belly that you got, whether you're 30 or you're 40 or you're 20 or whatever, and you just can't seem, you got to step back and say, okay, what am I doing here? That is problematic. But, you go for a walk and, maybe you work out at the gym, or maybe you had a long day. What's the first thing you do? You grab a soda. Instead of a glass of water, and instead of an alkaline water, by the way, those of you who understand that concept, you grab a soda and you want to quench it down. You're thirsty and you want something that's cold and sweet. You want a little quick. You want to bring your energy up. First of all, after you're done working out, just as a segue, you need to eat protein, because otherwise you're going to not be able to build muscle. So nothing for 2 hours after you work out except for a fast-acting, absorbable protein. So go have an egg instead. Go grab some nuts and some water. And that's what you should be doing for 2 hours after a workout. So now you got that little piece too. So how can drinking diet soda, which is not supposed to be glycemic in its stimulating pathways, cause a problem? Well, here's the thing that we have to think about. Your brain and your nervous system is smarter than you, Fifth Avenue Marketing, or all the chemical companies out there. They know far more than you do. So if it tastes sweet to your mouth, that means your brain's interpreting it as sweet, and now neurologically your body is firing as if it was something that was sugary, regardless of whether it is a low glycemic type of food, right? So you're thirsty, you want something, you want something that's sweet, and, you don't want to just drink water because, you feel that water's for washing and nothing else, but you get this stuff in your body. So, everybody sins. And what I mean by that, even, my little 10% that I tell you about occasionally, I like about, 85% dark chocolate, maybe, once a week. I have a little square. That's all I have. It's got to be organic. It's got to be non-GMO. And, but we all do those things. There's no sainthood on this planet, But I'm all for little things occasionally, as long as the majority, but you got to do it the right way. The problem is that many people believe that diet sodas and diet sugars and diet stuff, there's no guilt to them, that there's no repercussions, that, that they can indulge in them in large amounts. And, the thing of it is that I've got patients who drink, not only a can or two of sodas a day, but they drink a liter, and some of them more. And they come in and they have this stubborn belly fat, and they have heart disease, by the way, and they have diabetes, and they can't get rid of it, and they're on medication. Well, my doctor said that as long as I take my medication and I do diet stuff like this, I'm fine. Well, guess what? That's the biggest bunch of BS that's ever going to come down the face of the planet, and I'll sit and talk to anybody on that biochemically. On the surface, it makes sense, right? Maybe. Diet sodas have no calories, no fat, no carbs, no sugar. So how in God's name could it make that belly so fat? Well, people are eating more because they're being good diet soda drinkers. And here's where we were talking about that ghrelin-leptin connection. See, you just thought I was off base on this stuff. Well, there was an interesting study done at the University of Texas Health Science Center, and they found one of the reasons, it's called inflammation, inflammatory reactions. You know that old word that we keep talking about? Well, here it pops up even more. So this inflammatory problem gets worse, and diet sodas, chemistries to the body, this type of stuff is pro-inflammatory. It makes things worse. Now it's tearing up your gut, and you can't produce the things that you need to produce. So these researchers found that when you consume huge amounts of artificial sweeteners, like sucralose and aspartame and saccharins and, the sugar alcohols, no matter what they are, if it tastes sweet, it is. Okay, you cause inflammation in the lining of your intestinal tract. And that intestinal tract lining that inflammatory problem in your gut alters your gut flora. All that good bacteria that you should have? Yeah, well, it's a problem. Gut flora is a fancy term that really means these little microbacteria, these good guys that live in your intestinal tract. They help you fight all kinds of things, increase your immune reactions. They're anti any kind of nasty bug that's there. It's a symbiotic relationship. It keeps things in balance. But a diet of, artificial stuff causes this flora to almost it overproduced something called short-chain fatty acids, and your body can't get rid of all of them. And so subsequently, if it can't get rid of all of them, it starts storing them. And if it starts storing them, now it starts breaking down that signal that we talked about. It starts short-circuiting your brain. And remember we said the gut's the second brain? Well, here's what happens. It thinks that you've eaten enough, and it keeps you haven't eaten enough. So that's where that ghrelin comes in. So ghrelin level goes up, starts sending out hunger signals and sugar cravings. Not only is it not good for you, period, because your body thinks it's sugar, but now it's going to make you eat more, and you're going to eat more. You're going to start craving carbohydrates. And, that fat storing white stuff that we talked about earlier. Yeah, so it's going to go to that midsection, and cortisol is going to start creeping up. And then pretty soon you're getting into this metabolic syndrome of high blood pressure, high fats, lipids, and also you're in a real bad place with diabetes. Yeah, diabetes, even though that you're trying to fight it and your doctor says it's okay for you, you're going to make it worse. So you got to get rid of this stuff. You got to get the bacteria back in. You got to alkalinize your body. You've got to recolonize things. You've got to get rid of this sugary anything in your system. It makes a huge difference. 888-630-9625. 888-630-9625. That's where I am right now, and where I will be at 2 o'clock at the Fairview Park Marriott Hotel in Falls Church, Virginia. And we're going to be talking about 10 steps to living longer and healthy longevity. That's the most important part, is the healthy longevity part of this. So join me this afternoon, and we can have some fun. We can talk about these things. We got an hour. I don't have any more than that, so I'm going to try to sneak in a few questions towards the end. And our staff will be upstairs in the main area. We have a booth up there, so come by and say hello. Say hello to my doc. Say hello to the staff. Check us out. See what's going on. You'll be able to get some information about the Ageless Health Seminar coming up in October. Do you notice we're doing all kinds of educational stuff all the time? Well, we do it on purpose. It's for you, because we're here to serve you. We're here to educate you, and we're here to give you your own individual empowerment to move forward in life so you can do the things that you want to do. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to do whatever you want, when you want it, and as often as you want it. Make sure that happens, okay? We're coming up to a break, and I'm going to come back with a couple things that you're going to be very interested in, so don't go away. You really need to understand that your health is in your hands, which, by the way, Ageless Health, my book. Don't go away. This is Dr. Tom Roselle.
105.9 FM and AM 630 WMAL.
Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Tom Roselle here. You're listening to Dr. Tom Roselle live, as you do every Sunday. Same old time, same old place, 12 noon on the Eastern Seaboard. And you do the math wherever you are. We have so many of you all over the place that are listening to this program. And we're delighted that, it's either on the web that you're picking it up, or you're listening live, as many of you do every Sunday. Matter of fact, we're astounded at the numbers that do. Tell your friends about the program, and we will continue to try to make this the best information source for natural and integrative healthcare anywhere. Got a little something I want to share with you. And here's the situation. I see more and more people using these e-cigarettes. It's a way to quit smoking and so forth, and it's not supposed to be a big deal, and, it makes a difference. And the problem is that these e-cigarettes that are being used, and a lot of kids are getting hold of them as well, there's a problem. E-cigarettes, they look like a cigarette, kind of an overstuffed cigarette, actually, and they're made with battery-operated device, and it looks like a real cigarette or even a pen. Probably that thick. And, some have refillable tanks, and they're a little different look and so forth. They make them differently. And now there are hundreds of brands out there. It's just like craziness, right? And it's how you fix your nicotine cravings. But the problem is that's what it's got. So here's the way they work. They're filled with a liquid that's usually made of, a combination of things, some chemicals, nicotine, and some flavorings. And there's a heating device in them, and it turns the liquid into a vapor that you inhale when you take a drag. So it's just like a cigarette, right? So the bottom line is, are they addictive? Most of them contain, across the board, nicotine, which is extremely addictive. Nicotine is as addictive to the brain in the same receptor sites as heroin is. And those of you who try to quit smoking over the years know that, and there's ways of making this happen. There's ways of stopping smoking, but it's a couple-edged sword that we won't get into right now. But I want you to know about these e-cigarettes because you're potentially causing yourself worse problems. Nicotine isn't good for anybody. But, if in the laboratory studies they take and they rub it on rats and you get cancer tumors and you get all those things. Well, especially for your heart and your arteries and all of that nonsense, we know that it hurts the brain, particularly in children that have developing brains. And, mothers that are smokers or smoke at all during pregnancies have a greater tendency to produce children with smaller birth weights and also mentation problems over time. The damage to unborn babies is significant with anybody that uses nicotine. It crosses the barrier. It's just like an alcohol fetal syndrome, but nobody wants to talk about this because there's a lot of big money behind this. Some of the brands that we're talking about contain formaldehyde, and it's a preservative, and it's used in antifreeze, and it can really cause major problems, particularly in the formation of cancers and degeneration in the neurological pathways of the body. The chemical that is the most deleterious is something called diacetyl. It's spelled D-I-A-C-E-T-Y-L. And it's added to things like popcorn. When you go to the movies and you get a bag of popcorn, that's the garbage that they have on it. And, but when it's inhaled, it's even worse than that, okay? So it can produce lung disease and cancers, and actually the list goes on. So I want you to understand that these e-cigarettes are not without significant jeopardy, and they're not safe. There was an interesting study done by a medical physician by the name of Neil Benowitz, and he's a nicotine researcher out of the University of California, San Francisco. Check it out. I think that you'll be amazed. It's like, do what you got to do to make it happen the right way, my friends. And what you're going to do when the program is over, which is in about 20 seconds from now, is you're going to meet me at the Fairview Park Marriott Hotel, and we're going to talk about 10 things that will make you really healthy. How about that? We're going to just kind of meet each other and say, hey. So, hang up, meet you at the hotel in a few minutes. I love you all. Bye.
Are you dental phobic? Do you neglect your dental health because of fear and anxiety? A beautiful smile begins with exceptional dental care, and you can trust in the expertise of Soft Touch Dental Care and Dr. Michael Chung. Soft Touch Dental Care is unlike any dentist office you'll ever experience. Their warm and welcoming environment is designed to soothe fears and anxiety the moment you arrive, and they're especially pleased to pamper their honored guest patients. Dr. Michael Chung is a professional and leading expert in all areas of comprehensive dentistry, including cosmetic, sedation, neuromuscular, TMJ, and implant dentistry. Offering state-of-the-art technology, Dr. Chung can give you the smile of your dreams. Arrange for a complimentary consultation today with Dr. Michael Chung and experience the expertise that makes Dr. Michael Chung so unique. Call 703-319-6990. That's 703-319-6990. Or visit bestinsmile.com. That's bestinsmile.com.
This is Dr. Tom Roselle, author of Ageless Health. Health is a do-it-yourself program. My book, now also available in audio version, is a step-by-step program of how to take control of your health and wellness without drugs or needless surgery. You have the capacity to change your health and level of well-being. Take control of your health today and order Health is a Do-It-Yourself program.
For more information and to order, please visit agelesshealthbook.com. That's agelesshealthbook.com.